No way, Tamara said, crossing her arms over her chest. It's not safe for you to go. It's not safe for any of us. You don't even know where Alistair's headed. I think I do, actually, Cal said. He slid the barn door open and limped inside. The rest of them, even Havoc, waited in the doorway as he retrieved Master Joseph's letters. When he returned, he held one up to the light. There are numbers under Master Joseph's name, he said, in every letter. Yeah, probably the date, Jasper said. Cal read the numbers off. 45, 1661, 67, 2425. That's not a date, except maybe on Mars, said Tamara, crowding closer. It's coordinates, said Cal. Latitude and longitude. That's how my dad used to program the GPS in his car. It tells you how to find something. Joseph is telling my dad where he is. Then we know where we're going, said Aaron. We just need to find something we can plug the coordinates into. Here, Tamara said, taking out her phone. But when she touched the screen, it didn't come on. Oh, I guess I'm out of charge. A computer in any internet cafe would work, said Cal, folding up the papers. But there's no we. I'm doing this alone. We're not leaving you alone, and you know it, Aaron said. He held up a hand against Cal's protests. Look, by the time we get back to school, your father could have already reached Master Joseph. There might not be enough time to do anything, even if we could convince the mages we knew what we were talking about. And if we go after Joseph and get the alchemists back, then we go back in glory, Tamara added. Besides, they already sent a monster after us. Until we know whether we can trust them, the only way is forward. Cal looked over at Jasper. You don't have to come. He actually felt bad now for having dragged Jasper into this mess. Oh, I'm coming, Jasper said. If monsters are hunting us, I am sticking with the Makar. How can the mages of the Magisterium be the good guys if they'd send a monster to murder us just for running away? Aaron asked. We're kids. I don't know, Cal said. He was starting to worry that there weren't any good guys, just people with longer or shorter evil overlord lists. Tamara sighed and scrubbed a hand through her hair. Right now, we need to find a town, somewhere where we can get new clothes and some food. We look like we set ourselves on fire and then rolled around in the mud. We don't exactly blend in. Havoc, hearing the words roll around in the mud, began to do just that. Cal had to admit Tamara was right. They were dirty, and not like actors in movies who had one artistic smear of dirt across a cheekbone. Their uniforms were ripped and bloody and soaked with oily, metal, elemental goop. I guess we start walking, said Jasper, sounding dispirited. We're not going to walk, said Aaron. We're going to drive. There are 300 cars here. Yeah, but most of the ones that haven't been eaten don't exactly work, Cal pointed out, and the few that do work don't have keys waiting for us. Come on, said Aaron. I don't have a dad in prison for nothing. I think I can hotwire one of these. He strode off toward the field of cars with a confident set to his shoulders. That's our Makar, said Jasper. Chaos magic and Grand Theft Auto. I thought you said your dad ran off, Cal said to Aaron, running after him, and that you didn't know where he was. Aaron shrugged. I guess no one likes to admit their dad is in jail. Right then, an imprisoned dad didn't seem like the worst thing to Cal, but he knew better than to say it. Cal helped Aaron select the least broken car he recalled Alistair buying. A Morris Minor, its swooping exterior a deep emerald green that contrasted with its red leather seats. It was one of Alistair's newer cars, manufactured in 1965, and unlike lots of the others, didn't need a new engine. It's still not fast, Cal warned. Like, we probably need to stay under 40 miles per hour, even on the highway. And it doesn't have a GPS. He might have installed one eventually, but he didn't get around to it. What happens if we don't stay under 40 miles per hour? Tamara asked. Cal shrugged. Maybe it explodes? I don't know. Great, Jasper said. Can any of you numbskulls drive? Not really, Aaron said, crouching down under the seat, cutting wires with Cal's knife and wrapping them back together in a new combination. How can you know how to hotwire a car, but not drive one? Jasper asked, heaving a massive sigh. That's a good question, Aaron muttered, sticking his head out from under the seat. He looked sweaty and a little shaky. Maybe you should take it up with my dad. He didn't get around to teaching me before he got locked up. I've driven golf carts before, said Tamara. How different could it be? The engine sprang to life, vroom, revving under Aaron's capable hands. I'll drive, said Cal, whose father had shown him how. Sort of. He was in enough trouble that driving an unregistered, uninsured vehicle without a license was hardly going to make much of a difference. Besides, he was the enemy of death, an outlaw, a rebel. Breaking the law should be the mere tip of his iceberg of evil. Havoc barked, "Roof," as if agreeing with him. Havoc had taken the front passenger seat and didn't seem inclined to let anyone else have it. Aaron leaned against the hood, looking exhausted. He glanced in Cal's direction, but his eyes didn't seem to focus. It's weird, huh? Everyone expecting me to be a hero, and my father's a convicted criminal. Well, since we're tracking down my dad because he stole some kind of magical artifact, I'm not exactly in a position to judge. Cal smiled, but Aaron didn't seem to notice. It's just, I don't know. Constantine Madden was a bad Makar. Maybe I'll turn out bad too. Maybe it's in my blood. Cal shook his head, so surprised by the thought that at first he didn't know how to respond. No. I don't think that's you. Come on, everyone get in the car, Tamara said. Aaron, are you okay? Aaron nodded, climbing unsteadily into the back seat. Jasper and Tamara loaded the Morse trunk up with the remaining stuff. Thankfully, since they've gotten out of bed to fight automotones, their backpacks had remained safely in the barn. Now all Cal had to do was not crash. Alistair had let him drive before, steering one of the old cars when Alistair was towing it or driving around the farm to park a new acquisition. But none of that was the same as driving all by himself. Cal got in and adjusted the driver's seat, shoving it forward so his shoes reached the pedals. Gas, he told himself. Brakes. Then he adjusted the mirrors, because that's what Alistair always did in a new car. He hoped it would give Aaron and Tamara, and even Jasper, confidence that Cal knew what he was doing. But the familiar movements made him think of his dad, and a helpless panic settled over him. He was never going to be the person his father loved. That person was dead. Let's go, Jasper said, climbing into the back seat. Tamara climbed in after him. Apparently, they decided to let Havoc keep shotgun. If you even know how to drive. I know how, Cal said, letting out the clutch and sending the car rocketing down the road. The Morris Minor clearly needed new shocks. Every bump of the road threw the kids into the air. It also guzzled gas so fast that Cal knew they were going to have to make a lot of stops. He clung to the wheel, squinted at the road, and hoped for the best. In the back seat, Aaron fell into a kind of fitful sleep, not seeming to mind the roughness of the ride. He thrashed around a little, but didn't wake. Is he okay? Cal called into the back. Tamara touched the inside of her wrist to Aaron's forehead. I don't know. He doesn't have a fever, but he's kind of clammy. Maybe he expended too much magic, Jasper said. They said the cost of using void magic is high. It took them 20 minutes to find the edge of a small town. Cal pumped gas into the Morse, while Tamara and Jasper went into the station to pay. Do you think he noticed how weird you looked? Cal asked when they came back. They were, after all, wearing burned, muddy clothes, and they were kids, all barely 13. Definitely too young to be driving cars. Jasper shrugged. He was watching television. I don't think he cared about anything except that we paid. Let's go, said Tamara, climbing into the back to sit next to the still sleeping Aaron, before he thinks about it. Tamara used the map to direct Cal through town until they came to a closed sporting goods store with a big, empty parking lot. Cal very slowly and carefully pulled into a vacant spot. Aaron was still asleep. Tamara yawned. Maybe we should let him rest, she said. Yeah, Jasper said muzzily. You're right. I'm totally awake and alert in every way, but chaos magic is hard on my cars. Cal rolled his eyes, but he was as exhausted as the rest of them. He allowed himself to doze, leaning against the center console to pillow his head on Havoc. A moment later, he'd fallen into a fitful sleep. When he woke up, Aaron was awake, and Tamara was asking him if he was okay, and lemony daylight was filtering through the window.